Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Outside, the series, of course, where we go outside zombies maps, such as 5, which we have on our plate today. As you can tell, I have a mod menu installed. It's called Encore V8. The link is down in the description in case you're interested in playing it. I'm using it in pair with Plutonium as well, and it allows me to go ahead and do things such as turn on God mode as well as no clip, which they call UFO mode in this. Kind of funny. And yeah, let's get to checking out what's going on outside this here map, man. So I think a good place to start is this window right here, so let me just hop on through. We got a whole bunch of tapes, a projector at the back, and it looks like this is a little zombie spawn location back here, where the zombies can spawn and, of course, come around and get you at the window. And right here, there's a barrier, but let me just hop on through it, and it connects to the area where this window goes to. Back here, there's a little zombie spawn location again, and we also have the chalkboard from The Rise chilling right here. I don't think you can see this in any other BO1 Zombies maps, so I just thought that was a nice touch to throw this in. It's actually hiding around the corner here on 5. And at the back of this room, there is a portrait here that is clearly taken from real life. These are obviously real soldiers. It looks like it's from World War II or something like that. Not sure if this is D-Day, but cool little details. I love it. And at the back of this room, there's a door, so with normal outside fashion, we gotta go through it. Let's go ahead and hop on through. And actually, there is a hallway here, which is super surprising. Right, normally when we go through doors, there's nothing at all, but there's some unused hallway. I mean, this goes all the way to this window, so I suppose some of it's used, right? But I mean, really, right here is all they had to go to. They could have just cut it off, but there's all of this hallway here that you never get to see. And what makes this even more interesting, if we go through this door, there's a hallway here as well, which is really weird. It makes you think that maybe this was going to be a window, and perhaps where I am right now was thought to be a playable area at some point. One thought might be that this was just an unused asset from the campaign, but as it turns out, this entire section of the map over here didn't exist in the campaign whatsoever. So this was clearly made specifically for zombies, this whole hallway, as well as this hallway here. And just to explore a bit more, just to show, if I go through this door, well, there's nothing here at all. As you can see, there's no connection between the hallway and that. However, if we go through these two doors right here, this one has nothing, but this one right here has a hallway too. Again, I feel like this might have been thought to be a zombie spawn location, and this whole hallway to have been playable, a way to get around and go to the elevator through this way instead of going the normal way over here. All right, continuing onward, we got this window over here. Let's hop on into it. Looks like some really horrible things have happened in this room. Yeah, as far as details, we got a repeat of that paper that we've seen many other places in other maps, such as Kino. And over here back on the bookshelf, we have a book that is labeled Edward Richtofen. So I don't know if this is like supposed to be a memoir for him, but clearly the Pentagon knew about the guy. And over on this side, we have a floating piece of paper that comes off the wall. Of course, you can see this easily from inside the map, but I guess you wouldn't really notice that it's floating, but as you get close, it becomes extremely obvious. And back here on this desk, we got a beautiful picture of Nixon. I guess this guy must have really liked him, huh? Oh! And hanging up on the wall, a nice picture of Sergeant Roebuck. Of course, that's inside the map over there on that hallway, so that's not too much of an Easter egg. But it's cool to see that it's chilling out here outside the map as well. And it looks like two zombie spawn locations, right? One back here in the corner, and the other one over here. Quite interesting that this table has collision, actually. You can stand right up on top of it, and right next to it is a map of the Hoang River in Vietnam. Of course, this is taken straight from the campaign. I can't remember if this was that boat mission, right, where you went down the river, or whether this was the mission where you went through the village, right, and stormed the village. But yeah, pretty cool detail. Just an asset pulled straight from the campaign and made it kind of work for the zombies map. And over here, we got two more windows to check out. Let's go ahead and go on through this one. Looks like we got a whole lot of filing cabinets. And what's interesting about this filing cabinets, besides this one that's just lit up for some reason, they're labeled top secret, medium secret, and low secret. That's honestly pretty hilarious. And as for the files inside of them, they seem to be labeled like Demian Git Row. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Yeah, I have no idea what that means. I got a feeling it's a little dev secret probably, but it almost sounds like coding, like you're giving a variable row. Row being a letter in the Greek alphabet. I'm not entirely sure, but kind of cool. And right over here, we have a hallway to spawn zombies that seems to be owned by a guy named B-Gen Peters. No clue who he is, but he's got a real nice hallway. There's not too many details on these desks besides more pictures of Nixon, but what's interesting is most of this area has collision. Like every single one of these filing cabinets have collision, as well as the pillars, and that's usually not the case for areas outside the map, so I just thought that was kind of cool to point out. And towards the back, we got this room right here, which is very bright, and it's just chilling with a projector that's pointing at a wall with nothing on it. But no classified talk, guys, alright? Chill out. And of course, there's yet another door, so let's just go through it. Is there anything here? No. Inside this little projector room, there's a door as well, and what's interesting about it is on the other side, there is a hallway here. However, the two things do not connect. But in the hallway, there's a door, and it looks like it connects through. But as you can see on the other side, it doesn't. Kind of some weird dev tricks going on here. I'm not exactly sure why this is like this. There's no reason. I mean, you can't see any of this from inside the map. But yeah, pretty strange, man. They make one way look like it goes somewhere, and they make the other way look like it goes somewhere. But for some reason, they just don't connect the two. But yeah, here we are, this massive room. So there's obviously tons of desks in this room, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing interesting about any of them. They're essentially all repeats of each other. So yeah, nothing really going on here, but there are these side rooms right here. So let's go ahead and check out the Vietnam room. And inside this room, they got newspapers talking about the jungle conflict, right? So referencing, of course, the Vietnam War. I think that's pretty cool how there's like assets in here, of course, that you would never really see, but they're still lining up with what this room is labeled as. And moving on to the next one, we got Russia. And inside of the Russian room is this wooden mock-up of the Berlin Wall. Or at least I think this is the Berlin Wall, right? So this is like East and West Germany, and it looks like we got walls here and there, and of course like guard towers as well. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a nod to Kino, or perhaps actually a nod to the multiplayer map that came out as a map pack later on. But it's really cool that this is here. And what's interesting about this room as well, it's labeled Russia here, but in the campaign, it's actually labeled Germany. And another cool little detail I noticed on these portable television sets like this one right here, it says in the back, "Thank you for buying Treyarch." Love it. And yeah, yet another Edward Richtofen book chilling back on the bookcase. The next room over is labeled Colonel Scrapper, and Colonel Scrapper's room has absolutely nothing in it. It looks like his desk is missing, and there's only a floating lamp left behind. In the campaign, this room is fully modeled. There is an actual desk in there, but in zombies, it's all gone. And back around the corner here, it's a dead end. It's a hallway that leads to nowhere. There's a few more pictures that, of course, you can see normally inside the map down in the hallway over there, but they're chilling here as well that you normally never get to see, as well as some medals and some pins as well. Pretty cool, man. And in the campaign mission USDD, this is the door that you enter through. You come through this door and you walk along here alongside Hudson, and I think McNamara as well? Right, but you walk along here and you go through and then down this hallway. But of course that begs the question, in the zombies map, is there anything behind the door? Let's go ahead and hop on through. And it looks like there is. So yeah, there is, but there's not very much. It's just a little box, and behind this box, well, there's nothing at all. So yeah, the rest of the Pentagon is loaded out, and all that remains from that mission, just a little reminder of the past, is this room right here. And over here on this side, we have another room, and this one has the Ascension rocket chilling right here, as well as a magazine that says Space Race on it. Kind of cool. There's also a diagram here showing all about it, so clearly there was some preparation done to take down that Ascension rocket, which of course was done in the campaign, the mission right after USDD, so it kind of makes sense. There's a lot of assets hinting at that. There's also another instance of the Derize chalkboards here. This is the other one, right? The heavy K one. I've never noticed that this was here, but I think this one's much more noticeable because this is a window normally, so you can see right through to it. But yeah, pretty cool that both of those are actually here on 5. And for other details, there's not too much going on with these desks, but they do have these little televisions on them that are just constantly flipping through pictures from the campaign. Thought this was kind of interesting, so here's a nice little look in case you're interested as well. And at the back of this room, well, there's a nice little zombie spawn location for zombies to spawn out of sight, come around the corner, and come on out the window here. It's kind of cool too, because I'm pretty sure this room right here is labeled Russia in the campaign. So this Russian nameplate is actually taken and put over here in the campaign, and that Germany nameplate that's normally there, well, that appears all the way over here in this hallway. Alright, let's hop back inside the map. There's a few more windows to check out and spawn, so let's go ahead and do that. I believe there's one right here, so let's just hop on through it. Inside of here, we got a projector playing, but unfortunately, the images of it, well, they're not very interesting. There's not really much going on with them. There is a question mark at the top, but other than that, I mean, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Is this like the rocket test location? I don't know. And towards the back of this room, there's a map up on the wall, which is pretty cool. It looks like it's a Vietnam. Not exactly sure where in Vietnam, but of course, I mean, it's labeled, so you could probably Google Map some of this if you really felt like it. And around this corner, well, there's nothing, and at the back, there's a nice little hallway. I'm assuming this is probably where the zombies spawn, and they can decide to go towards that window over there, or decide, well, to go nowhere. Yeah, there's this whole unused room over here, and I have no idea why it's here. I guess maybe they were thinking to make this into a zombie spawn room, but it never got made. It's a completely unused asset, and instead there's a wall up here, and this is right where Speed Cola is. And you might think, well, awesome, there's a window right there, so go through that. Does that connect? And no, it does not. This actually goes somewhere completely different, with some other details in it that are kind of interesting, just a whole bunch more files, and around the corner, it's a staircase. Which, kind of cool that there's a staircase here. Perhaps at one point they were deciding whether or not they wanted to try and use the elevators for zombies, or perhaps even trying to figure out whether those elevators would work at all in zombies. Because of course, this is a really old video game, and getting assets to move up and down like that in real time, because the elevators do actually move, it's kind of impressive. This might have been a backup plan for them. It's like, hey, if the elevators don't work, then we do have stairs at least. We can always make that work. And just to show it off, I clip through here, these stairs do actually have collision, even though there's no texture here. And if we go down around the corner, it goes to this window right here on the second level. And yeah, there's this model of like a guy in surgery just chilling here on the staircase. I believe this model is found a ton on the basement level, so we'll go check it out more there, but kind of strange that he's just chilling here. And that's all for windows, but there's a few more details here in Spawn I want to check out, and one of them is viewer requested, which is the height of the barriers on these desks. If you guys remember, there was a glitch back in the day where if you shot the window like that and then you quickly rebuilt the barrier, well, it didn't really work for me. But yeah, if you could get just 2 of the barriers to rebuild, you could hop onto the top of them and then get on top of these desks. Of course, that was patched out relatively quick, which is kind of unfortunate, but I think the way that they patched it was adding a death barrier here, perhaps, or actually adding another invisible barrier to not let you get to it, but I don't feel anything here. So I think it was a death barrier. But the height of these barriers seems to remain the same. In fact, I can still just jump from table to table, just like you could in the glitch. But yeah, pretty cool, man. And here's a nice little perspective for you guys as well. You can walk up on these ledges, and man, would it have been cool if that glitch, that table glitch, allowed you to get up here too. Just absolutely decimating zombies in this room. Of course, glitches like this do get boring after a while, but I always found them a ton of fun when I was a kid. I'm sure a lot of you guys did as well. So let me know down in the comment section if you ever did the table glitch. I always thought it was a ton of fun, and it made 5. I mean, it made 5 special. You know, it really did. And one more thing I want to know before we turn on the power is the teleporter back here? It looks like it definitely is, but there's no light, there's no effects going on, and obviously I can't use it. But kind of cool that it's just chilling here. All right, time to go into the elevator. Let's take a look at the elevator shaft. Man, this is a nice shaft. Yeah, so the elevator shaft itself is not really well textured, but it is massive. It goes up way higher than it needs to. Obviously, this is way above the actual map. And it also goes all the way down, of course, to the second level, but it stops right here. And as far as the elevator itself, let's get a little look at it in motion. I'm going to go ahead and just call it on down, and we can see that it actually moves down, which, again, very impressive for the time that this game was made. And here we are, level 2. Well, I'm going to take a sip of the coffee, because of course, I have my coffee with me here this morning. I hope wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this, you're enjoying yourself, because I'm having a dandy old time. 5 is not one of my favorite maps of all time, but I do have to say it's a super unique map and is a ton of fun to play. It's definitely up there in my tier list. Even though it's really hard and getting high rounds on it, I mean, good luck. But there's just a lot of good memories I have, like camping the Inner Sanctum or training zombies here around this war room. And if you're enjoying this video as much as I am making it, leave a like on it. It helps me out a ton, as well as, of course, subscribe to make sure you can come back for more. Consider hitting that join button down below. It allows me to spend more time making videos like this for you guys. And with that being said, let's continue. So there's a ton more windows to check out. We already looked at this one, so let's go ahead and pass the MP5K and check out this one right here. Looks like this is like a little break room. We got some cigars chilling. But other than that, there's not really any interesting details. Just, you know, it's a break room. That's about it. And continuing past that, we got this window back here. Let's hop on into it. It looks like this is like some dude's desk. But other than that, there's this map back here, which I don't know exactly what this is. It looks like it's South America somewhere. Coyo de something? Yeah, I don't really speak very much Spanish. Other than that, it says Grupo. That's a group, right? I think. And lastly, for this like upper deck area, there's this window over here, which looks like it's just a storage room for all the film containers. Because, of course, the Pentagon, they got a lot of film, you know what I mean? I mean, they gotta keep that stored somewhere. Nixon, you dirty dog.
Oh.
And something else that's interesting about 5 that usually doesn't happen on most maps, if I don't open these doors, typically interactables don't work. But it turns out on this map, they still do. Like, I can come over here, I can buy the stakeout, and everything is as normal. Usually when you don't buy a door, all the interactables are turned off, and that kind of, like, I guess saves on RAM, right? I suppose. I have no idea. Not exactly sure why they do that, but I'm assuming it's to save on resources. But kind of cool to see that here on 5, it's not like that at all. And of course, down here, we got a ton of windows to check out, so let's hop on into them. This one looks like it's just like a little utility hallway, a little area for zombies to spawn, but not much detail to it other than that. And right over here, I'm assuming this is the same... It's not at all. This is a massive room. Wait, so there's a massive server room back here for seemingly no reason. I mean, you don't really get to see very well into it. I mean, I suppose at the windows, right, it gives that depth perception. Wait, that's a perk. It gives the perception of depth, right, when you're looking back through this window. There's this massive room here with a ton of servers, which every single one of them has collision too, which is kind of strange. And at the back of it, well, there's this door, so let's go ahead, hop on through it. Is there anything on the other side? Not at all. Yeah, there's no details in this room whatsoever. I mean, there's like a chair sitting here, but other than that, that's it. There's nothing else. It's just a massive server room. And hopping on over to the other side, we have a couple more windows to check out. Let's hop on into this one. Looks like we got like, I don't know, is this like a tape? I guess this is where they play the tapes, huh? And there's no collision with any of this, which is very normal, so just kind of hints at how strange like things like that server room are. And there's also a door here that has like a black wall texture, so I'm assuming there's nothing on the other side, and I am correct. And before we check out the elevator windows over there, there's a few more details I want to check out here. So firstly, the elevator is here, but just like if it spawned, there's no animation to it and there's no light coming from it. And of course, it doesn't work. And also, I want to see, this is how high these barriers are. So really not high at all. Actually, there's no extra barrier on top of it. It's just normal collision with these objects. So theoretically, getting on top of them wouldn't actually be that hard. In fact, I think that I remember there being glitches here, right? Where if you played co-op, you could hop up on someone's back and then get up on top of these barriers and shoot zombies and last forever doing that. I believe that was patched out eventually by making it, well, so it just killed you if you hopped on top of another player's back. But kind of cool that there's just no barrier to this whatsoever. The only thing preventing you from getting on top of it is the barrier that's on top of these railings. Which, as you can see, the barrier on top of these railings is extremely high. Also, another cool little detail is how they made this, like, globe texture work. So I think it's actually 3 different textures, right? One of them you can see is 3D, like this. And then there's this, like, black and red texture here, as well as the blue texture that kind of just, like, covers part of it. And then, finally, the grid layer that goes over top. And lastly, let's check out the Inner Sanctum. Let's hop on through the wall. Beautiful. So in here, there's a few windows to check out. Let's go ahead and hop on in them. There's this one right here. And inside of it, there's not much going on, just a little zombie spawn location. And of course, all of this you can see from inside the map. And as for this one, I'm assuming it's probably the same. And it looks like it is. But hey, we got George Washington. There's also this door right here, chilling next to Richtofen and the blank picture from Kino. And if we hop on through it, there's a room here. Really weird. So I'm guessing at one point they were thinking to actually make this a window like the other two, but decided that just made this area too hard. So instead, they blocked it off with a door, and, well, they also blocked off Dempsey's picture, which is chilling right here on the wall. Yeah, it's really cool to see that this room is fully modeled. This totally could have been an area for zombies to spawn and come around the corner and out the window here. And before we leave the Inner Sanctum, I gotta find out. Can we go through here? Is the Pack-a-Punch still there? Oh my god, I'm inside of it. So yeah, the Pack-a-Punch is still here, and it actually says must turn the power on first. So let me go do that and see if it works. The power is on. Wow, this room actually looks way different with the power on, doesn't it? All right, so the moment of truth. Can we Pack-a-Punch? Wait. We totally can. Oh my god.
Things do not happen. They are made to happen.
And yeah, you can even see like the little capsule that the Pack-a-Punch is in. So I guess this whole thing just turns around, right? Faces this way right when you go through the, well, through the teleporter. The entire time it's just sitting back there, able to be used, but out of sight. Hello? What's going on? Ah, must have been a wrong number. All right, finally, let's check out what's going on with the elevator. So we got 2 windows here, right? The one that's at the back of the elevator and the one right here. Let's go ahead and hop on into it. Looks like we got 2 different directions. I'm assuming this left way right here probably connects to the elevator, and yeah, it does. Although I don't know if zombies can path between these two locations, but I gotta guess. I gotta guess that they can. And as far as this room is, well, oh, okay, there's a barrier, so let me go on through that. We got George Washington chilling back there, but there's not a ton of detail. There's another one of these, which I think was in the Inner Sanctum. Not sure what it's doing here. But yeah, just a couple locations for zombies to spawn, and at the back, we got a door, and through it, there's nothing. Well, actually, there's a barrier here, but I think it's just that I'm on top of the basement, right? Yeah. And if instead of taking left, we go straight instead, there's a staircase here, just like up top, that connects down to the basement and goes over to this window right here that's in front of the elevator. Kind of cool, man. Again, kind of hints at maybe this was a backup plan. Perhaps this is just for zombie pathing. I'm not entirely sure, but it's pretty awesome that it's here. It also connects to this window right here, which of course is the back of the elevator, right? The place that this window normally is at the back of the elevator. And as far as details in here, well, there's another barrier here, just like before. But beyond that barrier, just a little area for zombies to spawn, and other than that, not much at all. This door is cracked open, though, and you can see through it. There's just a black wall texture behind it, and behind that, well, wait, what? Oh, so this is kind of cool. So this object is normally right in front of the teleporter, right, when you don't have the power on, and when it slides down, it's just sitting here under the map. I'm assuming that's the same for all of them, actually, right? Yeah, so same deal over here for this one, and up top, instead of being tucked down below, because it would clip into the second level, it's instead actually tucked behind the one up there. You can see that right there is what's normally right here when the power's not on, and to cover it up, well, there's this screen, and you can't really tell the difference, can you? So here's a quick look at the war room from the mission USDD. Of course, there's a lot of differences. For instance, there's no teleporter whatsoever. There's actually nothing really going on in the middle of the room at all. It's just kind of empty. And the DEFCON symbols, well, they're completely different. Of course, there's no switches, and all of the DEFCON symbols, instead of being scattered around the room, they're all in one location in the corner. There's also no windows whatsoever. Those are added just for the map 5. And there's no elevator either. That's completely non-existent. In fact, there's no basement even in the mission USDD. All of that is added for the zombies map, and it's not found in the campaign whatsoever. And very similar, the same can be said for the Inner Sanctum. There's no windows, and of course no teleporter. Just JFK chilling and thinking about his life. And here we are, the good old basement. There's tons of things to check out here, so let's go ahead and just get to it. Through this window, we can see, well, oh, this guy had a real bad day, didn't he? I think he's fallen and he can't get up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
What's interesting about him is it's the same exact model that we found up on the staircase, and I think this model is actually reused a bunch down here. But yeah, there's just like a little area for zombies to spawn out around the corner and come around and get you at the window. And if we go clockwise here, let me go ahead and open up this door. And through it, around the corner, we got this window right here. So let's check it out, hop on through. Looks like we got some Nova 6 containers here marked N6 with the old, you know, that symbol. And we also got these, like, tiny little containers here. I'm not sure what those are supposed to be. Perhaps some kind of bomb? I'm not entirely sure. And we also got an M16 as well as a couple AK-74Us just chilling here in the gun rack, waiting to be used. And another really strange detail that there's no way you would notice unless you went outside the map, there's a box inside of the locker here, which... it's just another one of these boxes. There's nothing too interesting about it, but for some reason, it's in there, even though you would never be able to see it. And of course, around the corner, just a nice little location for zombies to spawn and come out the window. Yeah, so I guess this room was meant to be an armory, and what's interesting about that is chilling right here on the table is the Winter's Howl, covered in ice. I guess this is where Porter did his work, or at least I think it was Porter who made the Winter's Howl as well as the ray gun. Yeah, just tinkering here, and he's got this little gun range, shooting off and freezing everything. And just another cool detail that some of you guys might not know, if I have an explosive weapon and I shoot this wall, it's just a massive cloud of snow. Alright, moving on from this armory, we got a window right here to check out. Let's hop on through here. And to the left, at this desk, well, we got the ray gun. Yeah, so again, I'm not sure if this is where Porter was working, or perhaps this is just the Pentagon trying to reverse engineer the ray gun. But yeah, it's chilling here with a bunch of little parts. And as far as other details, we got some more guns chilling here in the corner. It looks like this is a completely different weapon rack because the guns themselves are organized differently. Cool attention to detail. And at the back of this room, we got what looks like part of a teleporter from like Durais or Kino. I'm not entirely sure why it's here. I guess, again, maybe some reverse engineering of the Pentagon. Or perhaps this kind of hints at a little bit that the Pentagon was helping Group 935. Because we can also tell here at the back, there's these canisters, right? These canisters from Kino with the little zombies in them. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know. Obviously, I don't know a ton of the storyline stuff, so there's probably some major lore behind this. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. I'm sure you guys know way more than me. Alright, continuing past the AK-74U wall by, we have a window all the way over here. Let's hop on into it. And there's not much going on here, though. This actually looks a lot like some of the transit space that's underneath the bank. We even have the Fallout Shelter logo, as well as those cages that are in transit, too. Kind of strange. But yeah, there's not much detail in there. If we go ahead and go on past it, we have another window all the way back over here. Let's hop on into it. And again, this looks a lot like transit. So I guess they really did pull assets from 5 and put it in that map. But yeah, we got a pile of zombies chilling here in the middle. And a bunch of these canisters, which, I mean, I have no idea what's going on with them, but they got Russian lettering. Maybe I'll go ahead and put up a Google Translate for you so you can know what that means. But yeah, it looks like some kind of biohazard weapon. I'm assuming, again, maybe Nova 6? As far as other details, there's not much going on. Just a couple little zombie spawns right there and over here as well. All right, let's start opening up some of these doors. So we got this one right here. Let's open it up, go on through it. And inside of it, we can see, of course, this is the surgical man. Well, the man being surgeried on? The patient. That would be the word I'm looking for. It's the patient. Yeah, he's just chilling here, of course. And he's also the same exact model that's inside each one of these iron lungs, as well as that's inside of, well, I mean, whatever the heck's going on with this wall. And if we go inside of here, we can see that this actually is fully modeled. So each one of these canisters is modeled, as well as like a room back here that kind of like encompasses the whole thing. And lastly, we got the pig room. Let's see what's going on here. Hey, buddy. Oh, man, I feel like he's real miserable, you know? Well, we got a couple more windows in here. I believe there's one over there as well as this one back here. So let's just go ahead and hop on through. And inside of here, we can see there's a whole bunch more pigs. Yeah, I don't know what the Pentagon was doing with pigs. Obviously, right, they were doing some kind of animal experimentation and seeing what, like, Nova 6 did as well as Element 115. I think that's how, like, Nova crawlers existed, right? As well as, like, denizens? You guys are gonna have to correct me. I'm sure you guys know way more about the storyline, but this is a pretty cool room, right? There's a little area back here for zombies to spawn, as well as over here. Not exactly sure which one they use, but they're both chilling. And as far as other details, well, there's not much. This desk does have collision, which is kind of cool, as well as the pigs themselves. Well, I guess this one doesn't. This one you go right through. Yeah, that's probably to guide the zombies around it, right? So they don't accidentally start clipping through this, and instead, they go around the corner and to the window like they should. And back around this corner, we have this window, so let's go ahead and hop on through it. There's not too much going on here, other than that there's a massive hole in the ground. I believe this is where the zombies come from, but it's kind of cool. I'm not exactly sure if there's any lore behind why there's a hole here, but there's definitely a hole. And on the wall over here, there's this, some chemistry stuff going on. Yeah, I'm a physicist, not a chemist, so I don't know what these compounds are, but yeah, this thing is completely flipped and mirrored. Like, it's not the correct direction at all. All the text is backwards. Actually, looking at it now, you, like, barely can even see that, too. Kind of a weird little Easter egg just chilling around the corner. And standing above the teleporter room right here, we can see that the object that used to cover it when the power was not on is now just slided upward into place over here, out of sight and out of mind. I guess you can still kind of see the bottom of it just clipping through. Well, that is 5, ladies and gentlemen. I had a ton of fun making this video, and if you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, make sure you hit the like button down below. Helps me out a ton, and of course, subscribe so you can come back for more. Consider hitting that join button. It allows me to spend more time making videos like this for you guys. I love you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Agent Mason,
Great honor, Mr. President.
sit. We are in grave danger from the communists. Our freedom, our very way of life is at risk. Dragovich. I'm told that you are the very best that we have. Anywhere. You will need to be. Mr. Mason, Take care of it.